What are microgreens exactly?
Yeah, microgreens are pretty much a baby plant. So you start the seeds and you let them grow just to that first cotyledon, which is that first baby leaf. And you might see the first true leaf just poking out, but then you cut them and wash them up and eat them like a salad. They're meant to be eaten fresh. They are nutrient dense because it is just that like little baby packet of power that would be feeding the rest of the plant. And so nutrient density is way up, and they provide fresh greens all year round, which is
That's
awesome.
so cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Thanks for like, because I really did, I was like, I thought it was like a specific like vegetable or something, but it
Yeah,
is
no,
just
so yeah, we do broccoli, radish, pea shoots, sunflower shoots. We do a few different blends with like arugula in it, and cilantro. Yeah, so you can totally, and if you're going to start yourself, that broccoli and radish are probably the two easier seeds to just do microgreens with that germinate easily in your, windowsill or maybe with like a little plant light.
do you have, Laura?
We have three. Um,
Wow.
yep, a 21-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 9-year-old.
Oh my God. You birthed the 21-year-old? You look 21 yourself. I mean, I know we're the same age, but Lord have mercy. What is she doing?
That's he, Cirrus. That's Cirrus. So,
Oh,
when I saw you last, it must have been about 20 years ago. Did I have just one baby?
I think I was thinking about that too. Like, when was the last time I saw you? Were
I
we
have a.
adults or?
We were in Arizona. I have a picture,
Oh, yes.
and we were in Arizona, and I don't even know where. I don't know how we ran into you. I don't know how that happened,
Well,
but
I lived in Arizona for many years.
yeah. So we were visiting friends in Flagstaff, and ran into you. I have a photo
Oh
somewhere.
my
I
God.
gotta find it because I can't remember if my one child was 3 and then the baby was born, or if I had one child. I can't remember.
I think you just had one child, and I
Yeah.
was just like, oh my
So
God,
that
Laura
would be
has a kid.
Cirrus, and he is 21, and he does work for
Wow.
us for full time, and then he has another side job during the winter also. And then
Wow.
Ashe, my daughter, is graduating this year. And then I have my youngest is a girl, also daughter. Yeah, it's
You
unreal.
look so good,
Thank you. It's the lighting in here. It's really good.
right? I know. Every time I'm in a greenhouse, I'm like, oh my God. I could live in here. This lighting is for real. Companion planting.
Yeah.
Um, what do you offhand know, like the benefits of companion
Well,
planting? And
yeah. So like, there's a lot of plants that can benefit each other. Might it be for like insects to like deter insects or to support the soil because one plant might take some one item from the soil and the other plant will be giving it back to the soil. But also, I guess because we're a little bit larger, we don't necessarily companion plant, but we do rotation planting, which is really important, even if you're doing small scale, to not continue to grow a potato in the same location every time because it's taking certain items from the soil and not necessarily giving them back. So,
and
following, even if you're on a tiny little patch, it's worth rotating. Don't grow your stuff in the same exact spot every single year. Yeah.
what is your favorite? What is your favorite crop to harvest?
Well, I guess currently in this age of our life, I think maybe potatoes. I know I've talked a lot about
Yeah,
potatoes. I like to eat potatoes a lot. But it's like digging for gold. Back in the day, we hand dug all of our potatoes. So that would not have been my favorite crop to harvest. But now we have a,
yeah.
a potato digger that goes on the back of the tractor and so it rises them up. And it's kind of like you have no idea how much is going to be under the soil, and so you're pulling them out and it's just like ooh more, and you're in the dirt, you're really crawling through the soil to like harvest them all. And so I do enjoy that.
That's so cool. Again, looking at your social media last night, you grow the potatoes with a potato, right? Like, is that what I saw? Like that
Yeah.
turning thing? That's
Yeah.
how you grow a potato.
So it's you pretty much are taking a piece of that potato which has the genetics for a potato plant. You know how your potatoes get the little eyes that can come grow
Yeah.
out of them? You know, that will turn into the plant, and then as that root system grows out, more tubers will develop from it. So you can take your potatoes that you bought at the grocery store and plant them and grow them. Now, you will start to lack in genetics over time, and on a larger scale, you'd want to protect for disease, because that can spread. So, like, we do buy our seed potatoes because they've been tested for disease, and we that's kind of important to us on our larger scale. But plant a potato, yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
could
so
get a
cool.
large, like, 5 gallon pot and just plant a potato in it, and then when you're at the end of season, you could just dump it out, and you wouldn't have to dig it because the potatoes would all be there. You should
That's
do
so cool. And you can do this with garlic too.
So yeah, you can plant your garlic, take a single clove. But with garlic, I don't know how it does in Florida, but it needs to overwinter. So it needs that. I think it's called vernalization, where it
Hmm.
it gets that cold shock treatment
Yeah.
of the winter. But you can put your garlic in, like, I think in the fridge or the freezer, and then plant it, and it'll think it has gone through winter. Um,
Oh, really?
so that's kind of cool too. I know
That's
they do
very
that
cool.
on in Hawaii. They do that on a farm that I had met there, in order to grow garlic on a tropical
That's
island.
so cool.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, I just want to go down a rabbit hole real quick about you saying about going to the grocery store and getting a potato and growing it. Now, tomatoes and things like that are not the same, right? Because they are genetic not to grow.
Yeah. So
I heard this on a podcast and I was like, oh, is this a conspiracy
oh,
theory?
right.
Like,
Well, some,
or,
I guess, if it has a seed, it could potentially grow, but like watermelon, they don't have seeds anymore, right? Not all
right,
of them, but some of the varieties, and that is then a an end to that single piece of fruit in your hand. Like, it can't propagate from it. Um,
right,
but some things like squash has a tendency to cross pollinate a lot, so you won't get a true squash plant in the end. Um, you can try growing your squash, and you'll grow something that's a gourd like, but it probably won't taste as good as that first Delcata squash that you had. So
right.
that's tricky. But something like a tomato, if you can take a tomato seed and grow it, and you're still going to get a good similar tomato plant from it. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so it depends on the type of crop, and then also, like, we intentionally still buy our watermelons that they're not seedless; they have seeds in them, because I think that's part of the system, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you also not only love growing produce and farm uh, on the farm, but you also love houseplants.
I do. Um, Tony does make fun of me, like, Laura, we have tens of thousands of plants outside. Why do you have to bring another plant into the house? But I love them so much, and they do. I think it's that sense of purpose, like everybody, you have to have a sense of purpose, and house plants, like, are do that because if you want to have a healthy house plant, you should check on it and talk to it and stick your finger in the soil. And I find myself doing that. I walk into somebody's home or into an office, I'm like, ooh, if that plant looks good, I'm still like, ooh, why does it look good? And I stick my finger in the soil, and I can't help but test it out. Like, is it wet? Is it dry? Like, what's going
Yeah,
on?
yeah. That's awesome. What is your favorite houseplant that you have right now?
Well, I guess my very favorite one is a Hoya that I have a cutting from my grandmother's plant. So
Aww.
I remember it growing in her house, and my sister got that plant. And thank goodness I took some cuttings from it because she totally killed it. And
Oh, she killed
I
it.
have, yes, so I have the cuttings, and it has just taken over a window, and it flowers, and it is just, it's like the memory from it also. So now I'm taking cuttings from it and propagating it and giving it to my friends and handing out, more plants from it. So that's
I
probably
love that.
my top one. Yeah.
How many houseplants do you have?
Oh gosh, I don't know. They're all in small pots. I don't know. We don't
Yeah.
need to make a big deal out of. I'm like,
My thing is at the farmer's market, because there's always someone there with plants, right? I
Yeah.
probably would come home every farmer's market with a plant
Yeah.
because
yeah,
I just
I
have no
can't.
self-control.
Yeah, and my favorite part about houseplants is just propagating them. Like, how can I make this leaf grow more? And not that
Right.
I need more of the same plant. I just love the process of it. Even if you're taking jade leaves off and making new baby jade plants, and then I just have to start giving them away to people because pretty soon I have too many.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the beauty of it, just gifting those plants that you
Yeah.
propagated. Awesome. Well, my love, thank you so much for coming and speaking with me on the podcast. I am so glad that we've reconnected. It's been so awesome to hear and see, and literally, like, not just hear, but see the joy in your face. Like, I can see that this brings so much fulfillment to you,
Yeah.
and
Well,
I love that.
if you come to Wisconsin, you have to promise to stop in and visit.
Oh my gosh, of course, of course. I love you very much, and tell your husband thank you for letting us take you away.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to talk, Wade. Thanks.
Yeah, me too. I love you. Bye. Hi, plant people. Thank you so much for tuning in to the third episode of the Plants by Wade Lee podcast. It was so much fun reconnecting with my childhood friend Laura of White Feather Organics. Make sure to follow them on Instagram. Check out their website for all of the services they provide in their community with CSA. Next week, we are going to talk to plantrepreneur Kriya of She Digs Dirt. Look forward to that. Until next time, hope you have a planty and fun week. Bye-bye.